Good. So, welcome to our quarterly marketing mastery workshop. Great to see some new faces. And Kaylee, this is your second, isn't it? I think.
This is my first. I missed the time management.
Oh, you missed it. You missed it. I knew you were down for it, but it's not the one to miss, Kaylee.
I know.
Hopefully you watched the recording, but
I did.
But this one I think is going to be really relevant, obviously, in your sort of sales and marketing role there. So Ben, what's your role within R&B?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, it is really all sorts. My proper role is LEV tester, but I do get lumbered with all sorts of bits and bobs. So lots of dealing with customers, quotes, that kind of thing as well.
Okay, cool, good. And Andy?
Mine's mainly engineering, so LEV, so testing and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Good. And second, Ben?
Projects admin. So basically, I get the blame when things go wrong and no praise when they go right.
Okay, cool. So I suppose, so you guys, this is a series. I have a series of 6 workshops that cover what I would call the fundamentals of business. Marketing, is the third one. We do time management, finance, sales, customer service, and team mastery. These are the key ones. So within mastery, what I suppose would be good for me to understand, because obviously, I think Kaylee, you're the only person here that is, I would say, purely sales and marketing. Everyone else has got other jobs they need to be doing, and this is sort of a small part of that. So it'd be good to know from you guys what it is that you'd like to get out of today. What is it about marketing that intrigues you, that perhaps you sort of the questions that you've got on your mind about how you can market the business better than you actually do. So if you can find your chat box, I'll just put hello, just so it should come up on your screen, and then you can sort of let me know what it is you'd like to get out of today. So, and hello, Gary, nice to see you back in your van. You don't have to type anything, Gary. It's fine. Don't be typing and driving.
I've pulled over. I'm in a bus stop. I'm going to type something quickly for you.
Okay. There's also some long type. Normally it's like one word, but there's also real thought going into this, which I like.
I thought it was my spelling.
I don't know about spelling. I'm dyslexic anyway, so I wouldn't be able to tell.
So am I.
Okay. So everything and anything, that's a good place to start. It means I can say anything and it's a learning opportunity. Okay, so change from domestic to commercial. Yeah, that's good. Branding, yeah. New customers, one, limited, no budget. Yeah, cool. Andy, you pressed enter. Okay, so I suppose what we'll take this from that no one's really got any marketing experience, so we can start right at the fundamentals. The good thing for me is you don't have any preconceived ideas of what marketing is, so I don't have to change any bad habits. We can just build correctly from the bottom up, which is nice to see. So I think the first thing we've got to sort of understand is, well, what is marketing? Because when we start talking about marketing, a lot of people have preconceptions of what it is, and sometimes they can hold us back. They can actually be the wrong thing. So Ben, in your mind, what is marketing to you?
Sending out pens with the company name on.
Sending out pens, okay.
And having like pads of paper with that. So I guess that's a form of marketing. But the marketing that I'd like to know how to do, if you like, is if I send a quote off. I think like R&B has so many things that it can do, but lots of our customers only they contact us for one thing, and we provide them that one thing, and they don't realize everything else we can do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really hard to get that across. Yeah. Because we're so caught up in what we're actually doing for that customer, rather than being able to say, oh, we also do this and this and this. So that's kind of where I would like to expand if that makes sense.
Okay. That's good. I'll come on to that in a minute, because I think that's why I think sometimes we get a bit confused what marketing is.
Okay.
And therefore I'm going to hone in a little bit to make it a little bit clearer for you. So, Kaylee, what about you? What would you say marketing is?
So I've learned that marketing is advertisement, it's sales, it can be promotions. There's marketing is like an umbrella to a load of little different strategies, is what I've learned.
How did you guess that? There's an umbrella.
I've been reading books.
You've been reading, excellent, brilliant. So we call it. This comes from a book I did in my MBA. 7 P's of marketing. All this stuff here. Okay. First thing to tell you is absolute books. Okay, so when we start talking about this isn't marketing. I mean, it's a useful things within marketing, but to me, it's too broad. It's too wishy-washy. How do I hang my coat on 7 things? It's too many things that are going on. And Ben said, it's sending pens out. Well, yes, it is, but no, it's not. Okay, because when we really boil this down and really understand what makes a business work, it basically comes down to these 5 key areas. If we want to grow a business, if we want to grow profits, and that's really what every business is in the game of doing, is it's increasing profits, is we have to generate leads, we have to convert those leads, we have to keep our customers coming back for more. We have to sell more to them. And then we have to make all of that profitably. So out of all of these, only one of these that is what I would call pure marketing, is lead generation. Marketing is really there to generate leads into your business. Yes, you use marketing throughout the other areas. If we're not getting new business coming into our company, then our company is going to go stagnant, and eventually it will go backwards, because there's only so much we can sell to existing clients. We've got to keep bringing new clients in. So, okay. So in my book, when we're looking at marketing's real function, its real focus is, how do I get a new person to actually come and buy from me? So if I send them pens, here's one of my, is my action coach pen. If I send them a pen, the purpose of sending that pen to somebody is that they remember my name and actually pick up the phone, drop me an email, and then come and buy from me at some point in the future. Ideally now, if I can get them to take action now, that's great, but it might be that they're going to take action into the future. Once they make and show an interest and I get an inquiry, then marketing becomes sales. So sales is all about conversion. Okay, and they are not the same thing. Marketing is a metric. It's a process. It's how do I get the message out to enough people to find that 1 or 2 people that actually say, yes, that's me, that's what I want to buy, and then they make an inquiry. Then the sales process goes on, And that's more about the relationships. That's more about understanding what's going on with that person. Okay. Once I've got a client, yeah, and I've actually, they've been buying from me for a little while, they already know, like, and trust me. Yeah. I still market to them, but my purpose there is to get them to buy again. So your point, Ben, about getting upselling and cross-selling to clients, that to me is very much at this level, which is customer service.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm not doing it because I want to sell you stuff. I'm doing it because I care about you and I want you to benefit from more things that we do.
Yeah.
So I deal with this one in the customer service mastery workshop, and I deal with this one in the sales mastery workshop.
Okay.
So today we are purely looking at how do I get a new person, somebody who doesn't know about me, yeah, to actually be interested in what I'm offering. Okay, and that's, in my book, is what real sort of marketing is about. That's where the skill and science of marketing comes in, is getting somebody who's got no idea who I am to a point where they go, oh, that's interesting. Yes, tell me more about that. And then the sales process can take on after that. Now, it isn't one then the other. They blend into each other. But for this purpose, we're going to separate them because they are two distinct disciplines that we've got to master. Okay, so understanding this, and so we come back to this time and time again, it really is important. So if you haven't written it down, write this one down. Number of leads times conversion rate equals the number of customers we have, the number of transactions those customers have, and how many times they buy from us gives us our revenues, and our revenues times our margins gives our profit. That's such a fundamental part of business that if you understand it, then it makes everything else so much easier. Give you a minute to write that down. So once we know that we're actually focusing on once we know we're actually so once we know we're focusing on lead generation, yeah, then we can start thinking about, right, so what is it that we actually want to achieve? So this is what I call my little formula for life success. So whatever you want to have in life, so your dreams and goals, you need to have the attitude, knowledge, and skills, and you've got to do whatever it takes. So, Andy, is there something in your life that you've always wanted and have achieved? So something, quite, reasonably sizable, but took some effort.
Not really, to be honest. I guess when I was younger, getting a car, that sort of thing. But,
okay, so getting a car. So you had a dream of owning a car.
Yeah.
What was the car? What was your dream car? Your dream first car or second car?
Well, my first car was a Fiesta. That wasn't really my dream to have a Fiesta.
Okay.
I don't know, really. Just to get around, isn't it? It wasn't really about what type of car. It was more freedom of having a car.
Okay. So at the age of when did you first have that dream?
Well, pretty much always. I lived in a small town from when I was young, so I always wanted to be able to get around.
Okay, so you were stealing cars at the age of 13, sort of thing, driving in fields. Okay. So when we have that sort of dream, so I want to be able to drive a car legally on the roads. Yeah. Then what kicks in is, right, who do I need to be and what do I need to do? Now, something as simple as driving a car, that's generally quite easy, isn't it? So who did you need to be in order to have a car and be able to drive it?
Who did I need to be?
Yeah. What type of person did you need to be?
Someone who was able to pass a test and be able to afford to run a car. I guess someone who was employed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you needed to be a person that could study their highway code, that would learn, would listen, etc. And
Yeah.
then what you needed to do was go and have some lessons, yeah, and earn enough money to buy a car.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did whatever it took to actually achieve the goal. Now, replace that with being a racing driver. Let's say you wanted to be Lewis Hamilton. Yeah. If you had wanted to be that person, do you think you would have had to been a bit more and done a bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the key in life is whatever you want to have, yeah, this is the most important thing, because that drives who you need to be and what you want to do. Yeah. I think all of us can achieve anything we want in life, yeah, if we're prepared to work on this one and this one. And that's the same within business, that if we want to have, more sales, more leads, yeah, then we've got to be clear what it is. Then we've got to be, and we've got to do enough to actually get us to where we want to be. So anything in life that you're working towards, the first thing you've got to really assess is, what is your goal? So within marketing, yeah, if you're not clear what your marketing goal is, yeah, and when I say marketing, I mean lead generation. So how many leads do you need? Yeah, then you're not going to be, and you're not going to do what it takes to actually achieve it. So it's a bit, because you guys are not necessarily specifically in marketing, Kaylee, I'm going to pick on you a little bit on this one, because this is your role. So what is at the moment your marketing goal?
My marketing goal is to find at least 2 to 3 instructions a month. So that's someone that trusts us to use our service and then pays the fee to go ahead.
Excellent. So two instructions per month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that, to me, that when you say that, to me is what I call a smarty goal. Yeah. So you've heard of the term SMART goals. Yeah, I change it with an I and an E, because it needs to be inspiring and emotional. Now, are you inspired, and does it get you excited about achieving that goal, Kaylee?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, only because of the money that comes from it.
Exactly. So for you, there's a financial reward for actually achieving that, which makes you, right, I'm going to do that. So if we set a goal that we're not inspired or doesn't excite us, then we're unlikely again to be and do what it takes. So it's a bit, go back to Andy and the driving. Driving a car around with your mates would have been inspiring and emotional to you. You would have excited. Yeah. Driving a Formula One car wasn't even on your radar. So even if you'd set it as a goal, you wouldn't have achieved it because it wasn't that exciting. To somebody like Lewis Hamilton, at the age of 4, that was probably his whole life. That's what he wanted to achieve. So we've got to start thinking, when we're looking at marketing, is if we're not as clear as Haley is I need two inquiries per month, yeah, or 2 inquiries by each month. So we've been specific. 2 is a specific number. Yeah. The number is also measurable. So if you do 0, you haven't achieved. If you do 10, you've overachieved. Is it achievable and realistic in the time frame you've set? So, do I think I can achieve it? Now, if it was 2 in a year, yeah, then you'd probably look at it and go, well, that's not that inspiring. I can do that with my eyes closed. So it needs to be a stretching and a little bit scary, because I've never achieved it before. Yeah. So once, let's say that your goal is 2 per month. Yeah. And then for the next 6 months, you achieve 2 by the 10th of the month. If we keep that goal at 2, how inspired and emotional are you going to feel about that goal now?
I let it go down if I'm reaching it quick enough, and I'm just doing it. My mind will probably start going elsewhere because I think I've got that time now. I've
Yeah.
done my work. I can carry on doing what I need to do until next month.
Yeah. So you'll start to drift, and it'll be, yeah, I can do that, and so you
Mhm.
become complacent. So in that respect, goals always need to be increased. So once you're to a point where you're doing 2 regularly, great. Now the goal is 4. Once you're doing 4 regularly, now the goal is 8. Okay, so goals always need to be something that you aspire to achieve, not you can do with your eyes closed. So when we look at marketing, we've got to start thinking about, well, what is it that we're trying to achieve? Yeah. So it always starts with, what profit do I need on a month by month basis? Once I know the profit, then I should know what my sales are. Once I know what my sales are, I should know what my average transaction value is. And therefore, how much of that will I get from my existing clients? How much of that do I need to get from new business? Now, for a lot of you, I'm not saying that you guys need to do this, but somebody in the organization needs to have done these calculations. Yeah. If we know our conversion rate, then we should be able to calculate back the number of leads that we're going for, and then ultimately the activity that we need to do to achieve those leads. So for Kaylee, Dan's boss has actually done these numbers, because I've been working with him for quite a while, and we know that the activity that you need to do in order to get 2 leads, is to get, how many business cards have you got to get?
So I've been out for the last 3 days, and depending on the location, but it's about 15 to 30 cards to get. If I'm in a small village, it'd be 15. If I'm in a large city, it'd be 30.
Yeah. So your activity is not how many leads do I get, it's how many business cards do I get.
Yeah, how many seeds can I plant?
How many seeds can I plant? Because if we, so that's the one we're in control of. We've no control over this. That we can control conversion rate, we can get better at it. So what we're trying to focus on, certainly in marketing, is let's focus on keeping track of what we can achieve rather than what we cannot achieve. Okay, because that's what we're then going to set our goals in, and then what we're going to measure. So anything in marketing, we have to be able to measure it. So Ben, if it's about pens, yeah. So if we said, right, pens is our strategy, we would say, right, how many inquiries do I want from sending pens out? Yeah, therefore, how many pens do I need to send out?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I can measure, right, well, I send 100 pens out and I get 1 inquiry. I know my conversion rate at that level is 1%. Yeah, but that's just an inquiry. That's not a sale. So it might be 1 in 10 sales happen. So if I need 10 inquiries, I need to send out 1,000 pens. So we start to see our ratios, our return on investment. If I do this, I get this. As we see, that's going to be really important as we go forward. So marketing has got to start from having a clear goal of what we're trying to achieve. That goal ultimately comes back to what is the profit that we're trying to generate within the business. And the two have to be connected. If we look at our beliefs around marketing, so that once we know what our goal is, then we've got to look at what our beliefs are. Now, a lot of people within marketing, so within the accounts, look at marketing, as a cost. Now, I spend money, therefore it's money coming out of the business. With our marketing hat on, we're always thinking of it as an investment. And if I invest money in something, what do I want? Ben number 2. So if I invest in something, what do I want?
Assuming I'm number 2, thank you.
You're below.
All right.
Below
well, if you make an investment, you want to see a return on that, and a measurable one upon what you expect.
Yeah. So if I invest in the stock exchange, I want a return on my investment. If I invest in marketing, I want a return on my investment. So let's go back to Ben number 1's pens. Yeah, how much do you think a pen costs us to send out?
Couple of pence.
A couple of pence?
Yeah. If you order enough, we'd have to send a lot of pens out.
Yeah, I think they're a bit more than a couple of pence these days, but you're probably looking around about sort of 50, by the time you sent it out, probably £1. Okay, so if I sent out 1,000 pens at £1 each, my investment in that marketing strategy is
£1,000.
£1,000. Okay, so what return on investment would I want from my £1,000 in my £1,000 investment?
Well, you'd want a return on what your average sale you've set out would be.
Excellent, cool. So if I come back here, pen work, no, not working. No, it's going to go back there, isn't it? Right. So I invest £1,000 in pens. I'm going to send £1,000 pens out. So if I'm going to work out my return investment, yeah, Ben said I need to know what my average sale value is. So let's say my average sale value is £500. So in order to get a return on my investment, how many sales do I need as a result of my 1,000 pens?
Well, 3 to make a profit, 2 to break even.
2 to break even, 3 to make a profit. Yeah, is that right? Anybody like to challenge that?
I would say that's right. I think.
We've missed something here. This is the sales value. What did I say the game of business is about? Is it about sales or is it about
profit?
Profit. Okay. So the sales value might be 500, but my profit, because I've got a cost of sales, might be 250. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if my profit is 250, now how many do I need? Break
4.
even. 4. My break even is I need now 4 leads. So the first thing we've got to understand is not sales. Sales is important, but we've got to understand the profit within what we're selling. Okay, and too many times we look, oh yeah, that generated £1,000 of sales. Well, no, but we still got to pay to actually produce that particular product or service. In a service-based business like Kaylee's, it's probably, there isn't much cost to sales in there. So it might be a 1-for-1 ratio there. But certainly for R&B and Gary, there's a cost to every sale that we produce. So we've got to bear that in mind. Okay, so if I know that I've got to return 4 out of my 1,000 pens, yeah, I know that my conversion rate has got to be at least 4%. Okay, but don't forget a sale is a conversion rate, so that might be I need 4 inquiries, I need 4 jobs. If I only quote 50% quote to sale, so every quote I do, I only get half of those actually buy. And how many jobs do I need to quote?
8. Is that right?
Yeah.
My math's going.
That's right. So 8 quotes, 50% conversion rate gives me my 4. So my 8 quotes, yeah. Now I don't quote for every person that inquires. Yeah, I might have another 50% conversion rate here. So I need to do 16 inquiries, yeah, to do 8 quotes,
get 4 jobs.
4 jobs. So I've got to understand what my conversion rates at each of these. So now my 1,000 pens has got to produce 16 inquiries. Now I'm looking at a 16% return to make this work. Okay, so suddenly we start to see that marketing is not just sending pens out. You know, there's a whole mathematical equation that needs to be going on behind this. And that's what I would call the science behind marketing. There's an art to it, which what works, the look and feel of things, but there's got to be a science of the numbers that back this up. Otherwise, we'll end up spending loads and loads of money, and no idea if it's having any impact on us. Okay, so if we have a really great marketing idea that needs, £50,000 to spend on it. So if I said, if I went to my boss and said, right, I've got this marketing idea, it's going to cost £50,000 to do, but I think it can return £500,000 in profit, and here's the numbers that show how my thinking works. Yeah, would you spend £50,000 to get £500,000?
It's risky, isn't
it? It's always risky.
But if the numbers worked out, there's no reason why you shouldn't.
Yeah, but if you've proven to me that sending 1,000 pens gets 16 inquiries, and we convert those, and there's the numbers, and you're asking me now, can we spend 100,000 on pens? Yeah, I've got, it's still risky, but you've proven the model on 1,000, so why not give it a go? I don't need to go straight to 100,000, but I could go to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and ramp it up and see if those numbers still work.
A quick question there.
Yeah.
So if the numbers all stack up and it seems a good method, like with the ratios and that, would there ever be a cap? Like, would there ever be a point where the pen method would not be as effective? I'm not just saying just with pens, but are there any other areas that you'd use as marketing that would get to a point where you spend 50,000, it does well, and then sort of anything over that would actually not be as effective? Is that a thing?
Yes. Yeah, I would say, there's a law of diminishing returns. Okay, so the majority of things work like this. Doing a little bit has very little impact, and it ramps up a little as it grows. It starts to ramp up, and then the more you do, you get less and less impact. Now it might decline, or it might just sort of stay at that level. Okay, because this point here, you've got maximum return on investment. Spending another £1,000 the market isn't big enough, and it's not working. Where this point is, you don't know. And what happens is I could be doing marketing, so I could be doing the pen strategy then for 6 months, and it's really working, hitting those numbers. Yeah. And this is a time point. After 12 months, it starts to decline because it's not as effective because everyone's doing it, or the market is now sick of pens. How many pens do I need, Ben? Keep sending me a bloody pen. I'm not going to buy from you. Okay, so this is really why we should never have one marketing strategy. We need a multiple number of marketing strategies. A, we don't know which one's really going to work. But once this one's up and running, we want to then start the next one that's going to do that, and the next one that's going to do that, and the next one that's going to do that, so that we can maintain this level of leads that are coming in on a regular basis. So I akin it to spinning plates. We're going to get one plate spinning. Once that's working, we then start another one. Then we go back and check that one, and then we go and start another plate. So we're always spinning multiple marketing plates, always measuring them, testing them, seeing how they can be improved. Okay, too many people just say, right, well, I've done one strategy and it worked, and they keep on doing it and then wonder why it's suddenly not effective anymore.
The world's forever changing as well, isn't it? So you've got to keep up with the demand and things like that, like COVID, or you wouldn't really, you can't really go to people's places. Like I find it hard going out on my marketing days, straight away and at the sign, please wear a mask, do not enter about this. If I haven't got that, that's something that's stopping you from doing your marketing. So need to adapt to what's going on in the world as well.
Yeah. So the quicker you can pivot, so when everything went online, and it was face to face, those people that pivoted quickly, have seen their businesses thrive. Those that took time or couldn't adapt, are out of business. And marketing, it's events like this happen, but it's always happening. So when Facebook came out, there was a big drive on Facebook. Facebook advertising was really effective, really good return on investment. Now it's really difficult. They've changed algorithms, more people are in the marketplace. It's much harder now to make Facebook work on a marketing basis than it was 5 years ago. Okay, so then now there's a move into things like TikTok and YouTube, and there's always something else that's going to come on. And sometimes you go back to the originals, you go back to telemarketing, or you go back to actually picking up the phone, because I'm talking to people, So everything comes in ebbs and flows, and you can only tell what's working by measuring it as we go. So we have to ignore that. So the reason we don't put effort into our marketing is either we don't have enough time. There's not enough time to do the marketing we want to do, or we don't have enough money, or we don't have enough skill. Okay, and none of those can be an excuse to not market. Okay, if you don't have enough time, then what you can do is spend money to achieve, so you can outsource the marketing to somebody else. So for Kaylee, Dan's not got enough time, and therefore he's investing in you to actually go and do the marketing.
No, he's actually, I got my first instruction last week, which would have profited him half of my salary. So it goes to show that if I can get a few of them in, it's worth the money.
That's it. And that's the thing. You benefit because you've got your commissions. He benefits because his faith in that marketing strategy is now starting to pay off. In those first few weeks, those first months, when nothing's happening, it feels, oh God, when's it going to go? And you just got to have faith that the activity is still going to actually make a difference.
That's it.
Okay. So if we don't have the skill, and we've got to learn the skill, that's why I put this on, so we can learn the basics. If I want to learn Facebook marketing, I mean, the beauty of these days is if you want to learn anything, there's a YouTube video on it somewhere. Okay, so there's no excuse not to learn. If you need money on it, if you've proven the model, then you can borrow money, you can get money from elsewhere to invest in it because you're going to get a return. Okay, but without having a plan and a strategy around it, then it's always a high risk, and that's why you'll find excuses not to actually do it. So the next belief is that we think that customers think like we do. And the reality is your customers don't think like you. They're in their own little bubble. They're in their own little world. They're not, engineers. They're not financiers. They probably think about what you do 1% of their time. So if we market in the way that we understand and use language that we understand, we are going to be ignored by our customer. We have to put ourselves firmly in our customers' shoes and think and act like our customers, not ourselves. And this can be one of the hardest things for most people in business is, we've got all this knowledge that we already know, and we try and get this knowledge out, but actually, is it what they want to hear? So really three things that drive people to basically change what they're already doing and look to buy from you. Okay, because if you think about, and David, we're talking about new customers. So Gary, you mentioned in your, are you able to talk, Gary? Are you driving again? Okay, I'll come back to Gary. So
yeah, go on. Sorry, yeah, go on.
So you're thinking about moving from a residential client into a commercial client.
Yeah, that's right.
So a commercial client is going to be thinking in a different way to a residential person, and different way to you think. So at the moment, what they need, their needs are being serviced by somebody else or something else, or they're quite happy with their needs not being serviced at all. So we have to understand that everybody that we come across, they have a resistance to change what they're currently doing. Because it's effort. If I've got to change what I'm currently doing to do something else, it takes effort on my behalf. And the only way that I'm going to overcome that effort is either because I'm dissatisfied with what I've got, or I've got a vision of something that's going to be better in the future. And I know what the first steps are. The most powerful part of this is D and the V. So either I'm going to need to move away from pain. So I'm in a place of discomfort right now, or I'm going to move towards some pleasure, something that is better, a better state than I am, or a higher level, there's a purpose driven that is not about me, it's about other people. So if you think about the sort of clients that you're looking to gain, the types of clients that you're marketing towards, what you've got to start thinking is, what are they currently thinking? What is their pain problem? Why would they even contemplate changing what they're doing to what you're offering? So Ben, if you took a particular sector that you're dealing with, and somebody that an industry or a type of client that you don't deal with at the moment but you want to bring on board, give me an example of what that could be.
It could be that we deal with a lot of say woodwork shops, but we want to start dealing with more welding fume extraction.
Okay, so let's say it's fabrication businesses.
Yeah.
So fabrication business is our target. At the moment, they're not knocking on your door, therefore their need is already being satisfied.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're not necessarily in pain. Now, what would be one thing that would happen to a fabrication business that would actually increase the pain and actually potentially make them inquire about your service?
It could be a change in HSE regulation. That means that they have to get their stuff tested more, or even just an awareness of that.
Yep. Brilliant. So if there's an area where they're being particularly hard on health and safety, and testings there, or you can highlight the fact that if they don't solve this, I presume if they get found out, they get fined and potentially closed down. That this could have a big impact. So sometimes they don't know this stuff. So our job in our marketing is to educate them on the painful situation. Actually, what you're ignoring is all these things. And they go, oh, geez, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Blimey, I better do something about it.
Yeah.
So sometimes our marketing is poking. I talk about poking a saw. Poking something that makes you go, oh yeah, ouch. Okay. The other way is something towards pleasure. So something that's actually, going to be more exciting for me, a better life for me. So what would that be if we keep with fabrication?
Well, if they improve their extraction, then the workplace will be a nice place to be.
Right. So it could be, a nice. I mean, that's a little bit about moving away from pain, because if I don't have the smoke and things like that, then everything's fine. We don't have an issue with it. We've always had this bit of smell here, and we're used to it. So we'd think about, right, what's another benefit, a more pleasurable benefit of actually having one of our systems?
It might be quieter.
Great. Yeah. Quieter, could be efficiency. I know we've got the smart air system that we can halve your electricity bills.
Yeah.
And save you money. And that money on your bottom line is going to help you do more things.
But that could be away from pain as well, because they're having to spend less.
Exactly. Now, if we can do both, if we can focus on pain and pleasure, then we've got a much better chance of moving people forwards. Which one do you think is the most powerful, away from pain or towards pleasure, Andy?
Probably away from pain, I imagine.
Away from pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one's easy, isn't it? So probably going to be the one you don't want to do.
They're always more motivated away from pain than towards pleasure. Okay, and we're programmed in our psyche to look for danger and then avoid it. And this is what if you go to the tabloid press, and the news, they always pick on negative stories. I'd say it seems to be really bad at the moment. Every headline you see is an over sensationalized negative heading. Because it picks up our inbuilt fear of danger. Because we're like all animals, we're picked up to move away from danger. Okay, so if you can do that, then do it. But sometimes you got to be a little bit careful, because you can go a bit too far with it. So, and ultimately it could be for others. So why not create a nicer working environment for your team? It could sort of be better for the environment outside. It's not affecting you, but you're putting pollutants and poisoning the surrounding area. It's got to be one of these is why somebody's going to actually do something different. Okay, so we've got to be thinking about really getting into the psyche of our client, rather than just thinking I need to send some pens out. Well, why pens? What is it about a pen that is going to do any of those things to the people that we're talking to? It's easy just to do what other people do without understanding why we chosen that particular strategy to achieve it. I'll come more onto that in a minute. So, 3 most important parts of a marketing campaign. Before we even do any marketing, we've got to understand these 3 things. So, really make sure you write these 3 things down. The first one is we've got to be clear who we're going after. Okay, so Ben, when I said to you, find a target market, we said fabrication businesses.
Yeah.
Kaylee, for you, who's your target market at the moment?
Anyone who wants to spend money. No, I would say small business owners, or someone who's looking to start up a business, or accountants, financial advisors, mortgage brokers, anyone who does similar things to what we do but don't actually do the commercial brokering and can refer over.
Cool. Okay, so what happens is we can start with a big target market, but then when we come to marketing, we've got to narrow that down. Okay, so for fabricators, there's all shapes and sizes of fabricators, aren't there?
Yeah.
Okay, so it might be, that might be a small enough niche that we can go after, or we might want to actually reduce it down even further. Fabricators within a 20-mile radius of the office. Fabricators in Bristol, fabricators in Derby. We can actually narrow it down into the smallest manageable size that we possibly can have. With Kaylee, when you're talking about, anyone with a pulse, that's not a target, is it?
No.
Okay, so we would say, right, okay, so professional services. Okay, within professional services, accountants. Because do accountants think the same way as solicitors? Do they think in the same way as IFAs?
No.
No, they all think in slightly different ways. Okay, so the narrower we can get with our target, the better our marketing is going to be. Because what we can then do is we can create an offer that is focused on that target market. Okay, so the offer is something that's going to make them take action. What is it that's actually going to get you to stop doing what you're currently doing and do something different? So the more targeted we can be here, the easier our offer is going to be. So if I said to you, give me an offer for all businesses, it's, well, come and meet Dan. Well, that's not going to get me do anything, is it? Yeah. But if you narrowed it down to a specific need, then it's going to be much, much easier for us.
I've been working on, so I don't know if you're going to cover it, but like creating an avatar for each so I've got an accountant, an IFA, and I literally write down their age, where they work, what their lifestyle is, and just try and get my head into the target's body and then write an offer.
Exactly. That's exactly what we need to do. As I said, our prospects are not us. We've got to get into their shoes. Think about what are they doing on it, because they're not thinking about your business. They're thinking about their business. So what are their headaches? What are they currently sort of, because if you can help them in their current state, they're more likely to talk to you. Okay. So once we've got the offer, then we can decide on what the copy is. Now the copy goes old-fashioned marketing where we had to do, it was all in print and it's copywriting. But think about copy as it's the words that we use and how we communicate it out. So if we take Ben's pens, and we say we're going to do a marketing strategy with pens, what we're doing is we're starting in the wrong order. Because the most important, if we were to score these out of 10, the target has got to be 10 out of 10. The offer about 5 out of 10, and the 2 out of 10. So least important really is what we actually do. Most important is who we're sending things to. So if I say, I'm going to send pens, I'm going to put a lot of effort in producing a pen, but why would I be sending it out to those people? Do they want pens? How are pens going to make them do anything? Okay, now if we said, right, we're going to go to accountants, for Kaylee, and said, right, our offer is going to be something specific for accountants, but the way we're going to do that is through a pen for an accountant. Accountants for pens would be quite relevant. Okay, but would they want any old cheap plastic Bic with your logo on it? No.
We've got to buy things from certain shops over certain prices for our clients. And they have to be, no, not from Sainsbury's or Tesco's, has to come from M&S and things like that.
Yeah. So we start to think that, actually doing this, your one strand, if it fits, then great, do it. But we can't just say, we're going to do pens and then work upwards. We've got to start with a target and then work downwards. And what will happen is your marketing will become much, much easier in order to actually, and your marketing campaigns will be far more effective. So when we're looking to identify our targets, we've got to start looking and come up, exactly as Kaylee said, we've got to come up with the personas. So who are we going after? So a good starting point is to look at your existing client base. So who are my current client base? Why are they A grade clients? So A grade are just awesome clients. They pay on time, they spend a lot of money, they don't quibble, they're in good industries that we like dealing with. So if we can start with them and think, well, okay, so start with my existing client base and think, well, what is their problem? Before they met us, what was the problem they had? What are they currently thinking? How are they acting? If I was trying to sell to one of my existing clients right now, if they didn't know about me, knowing what I know about them, what would I do? Sometimes go and talk to them, interview them. Hi, Fred, I'm looking for more clients like you. Yeah. What's your biggest frustration, and how have we helped you the best? Okay, so interviewing existing people, and sometimes you can use that as a bit of a ploy. I'm just surveying. I had one, it was a cold call through the phone, and it was a company that said, we're carrying out a water survey. We'd just like to ask you a few questions to see how your water is in the local area. And they said, are you in, do you have problems with lime scale? Do you have any bad taste in the water? Have you had any issues with water supply in the last 3 months? And it was like, no. Okay, thank you very much. And it was like a proper, market research survey. I think it was about a week later, I got a phone call from the company. It said, thank you very much for doing our survey. We noticed on the survey that you're in a hard water area. Yeah, we'd love to send round somebody to do an actual survey test on your water and give you some options to actually improve that. Okay, now what they've done is they're obviously phoning me up because they know I'm in a hard water area. That's not a difficult one. So they've targeted people in a hard water area, probably in middle class, affluent housing areas who would probably spend money on what they're selling. Yeah, and they were offering a free water testing survey. Now, it was only because I knew from the moment they phoned up that this was a marketing ploy, but they were actually very, very good. Their scripting was very good. The way they processed it was actually really, really good. And I tend to like to listen to cold calls because I like to see, what's working, what's not working. But they were very, very targeted. Their offer was very good for the market they were going to go for. And the way they did it was just pick up the phone. A very slick website that they say, go and check our website, loads of testimonials on there, and that's more in the conversion on the sales. But, it was a very good campaign. I could see that they could roll that out through the whole country, and be very effective with it. Okay, so, who are they? Why are they A grade? What is their problem? And where can we find more of them? Okay, and one of the key things, I don't know if Dan gave you this book, Kaylee, to read.
I haven't read it yet.
Okay, so it's a really good one to read. So it's really, marketing should be answering the questions that your customers are asking. So it's a little bit like Google, if you've got something that, type it in Google and it will come up with similar questions that are being asked around this particular topic. Those are the questions that you want to be answering.
Cool.
Okay. And from that, questions on anyone's generally are asking around a particular product or service is, what's the price and how much does it cost? If you imagine you go out onto a website these days and you want to buy something, if it doesn't tell you how much it's going to cost, you tend to walk away from it.
Definitely.
Okay, so why not just, it's the elephant in the room. Why not just tell them, look, this is what it is. Now, if they go, oh, geez, that's too expensive, then fine. They're never going to be your customer anyway. Okay. what are the problems with it? With air purification systems, where do they go wrong? What's the issues?
Our systems don't go wrong.
That's
Ever?
what we tell people, at least.
That's what. Yeah, but that's bollocks, isn't it?
Going back to the first one, sorry, just a question on it. It used to be the way that they didn't put the prices and the costs, but now
Correct.
it's become a thing to do.
Yeah.
It's more for interest, really. But why did that change? Why has that changed?
It's changed because we're so used to now is people, before people buy anything from you, they'll do their research.
Yeah.
Okay, we're so used now. There's nothing that you will go out and buy now that you haven't got some idea of what it is you're buying and how much it costs.
Yeah.
In the old days, you couldn't get that information. It was impossible, so you didn't know. So we could use the data. We'll contact us and we'll tell you what prices are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was acceptable back in those days.
Okay.
Today's world, no.
If I see something without a price, I make up my own price in my head, and I've already valued it way over than what I could think it is, just because the price isn't there, and then I walk away.
Yeah, you'll either do that, or you just won't trust them because, well, if you're not going to tell me your price, I'm not going to trust you. It's just the world has moved on again, that we are just so used to having information at our fingertips within seconds. And if you're not giving them that information, they'll get it from somewhere else, or they'll make it up, and they'll probably get it wrong. Either too much or too little. They'll expect. I had a company that did helicopter rides, so you could charter a helicopter, and he was just inundated with people saying, "Oh yeah, I want to. My kids want to go to graduation, and would love to have a helicopter, to bring the kids in and land at their sort of graduation." Oh, that's fantastic. So yeah, could you give us a price? Yeah, that'll be £15,000. What? That's ridiculous. Well, that's how much it costs to charter a helicopter. Oh yeah, okay, I won't bother then.
So in that instance, is it worth him having an idea of costs? Because obviously he needs to quote to give an accurate cost, but it would be good to not be quoting or even bothering with people that think it's going to be a few quid when it's 15 grand.
Cool. Yeah. So if you go to a website that we don't want to be specific on the price, but we want to give an indication, what would you put? What have you seen on websites that would say get around?
Well, you could put a ballpark figure, or in the region of, or something.
Yeah, starting from
from £5,000. Yeah. Oh shit! Oh, well, in bother then. Okay, so if you don't want to be specific, then a typical trip, a typical installation is going to be this.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. I want to know, because at this stage it's ballpark. I just want to know rough in the ballpark. Am I in the game? Because what I don't want to do is phone you up and then you tell me that and go, oh shit, I can't afford it.
And not only that, some people don't buy on the first time. So I could go on the website, see it's £600 and be like, right, think about it. Then I might be thinking about it for 2 days and be like, oh, I can buy that. But if I was to speak to somebody direct and they give me that price, and I'd shit myself and hang up probably.
Yeah. Yeah, people, and again, depends what you're selling, what product it is. Sometimes that buying decision takes a little bit of time to bed in. So the sooner you can get price out the way, then the more time they've got to actually think about. Because what you don't want to do is put all the proposal together with all that, and they go, "Oh, it's too much."
Yeah, that's right. You've wasted everybody's time.
Just wasted time. Yeah, and that's why when we come into sales, I'll always look to ask, look, in order for me to quote you best, I do need a bit of a ballpark where you think that this is, what this is worth to you. How much are you willing to invest in this sort of project? Because I can build this at £5,000 and I can build it at 50 grand.
Yeah.
So you've got to give me some steer of where you are, and then I can give you your best option for the price you've come up. And if people are not willing to give you a price, they're probably not going to buy from you anyway. Because no one goes into buying something without an idea of what they're willing to spend.
But that can be difficult too, because if you give your price, then they see a price somewhere else. They might think, oh, that's a lot cheaper, but they might not necessarily be comparing eggs with eggs. And so to get the right information across is important. Then I guess that comes back to getting the advert right.
Well, then we're into sales, Ben.
Yeah.
And that's what I cover in the sales, because it's a different game then. This is now about emotional connection, relationships, trust. There's a whole bag of things that we take. At this point, all we're trying to do is get them to inquire.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's all I want. I want a sign of interest that you're now turn a suspect into a prospect that says, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, tell me more. Great. Then we switch on to sales. Okay, so another question we could answer, how does your product compare with the competitors? Some people are, oh, I don't want to talk about my competitor's product. Well, no, talk about it. And don't slag the competitors off. Look, this product is really good. It has these great features. Yeah, ours has these great features. And if you can't differentiate your product from their product, then you've got a problem, not them. Okay, so never belittle the competition, but show how your product actually stands above it and why it's better.
Kevin, would you say, so we have, with the brokers, with the commercial brokers, there's people that don't take a fee and there's people that do take a fee. So Dan takes a fee.
Yeah.
But I always do explain to our customers that there's some brokers out there that might not take a fee. They're not always working in your best interest because they're looking for the highest commission. Now, not everyone is like that, but that is what they're doing if they're not taking a fee. Is that putting them down, or is that facts?
I would say, focus on that we take a fee because that means we can be impartial and give you the best possible deal.
Mm-hmm.
So we're now working for you. Yeah. Whereas if I'm on commission, I would be looking for the best deal for me.
Yeah.
And you can say, if I was on commission, I would be looking for the best deal for me.
Yeah, cool.
You're not them. You're not saying that person does it that way, but you're sowing the seed that says, oh, yeah, they would be, wouldn't they?
Mm. Okay, I'll reword it a little bit then.
Okay, so you can always, if you state it, if it was me, I would be doing this.
Yeah.
But we chose not to do that. We chose to be completely upfront, charge a fee, and then we can 100% work for you.
Cool.
Okay. Number 4, your customers think about the work. So make sure you're getting reviews, testimonials, things on there. And, you talk about your best competitors, Yes, you could do this. Don't be scared to talk about this one. Okay. So this, this sort of thing could go on the website. It can go into your social media. These are the messages you can be putting out there. That gives those people, oh yeah, look, they're not just selling their stuff. They are being educational, because a lot of marketing is about research. People are researching before they buy, and if they're looking at what you're posting, they go, oh yeah, they seem to know what they're talking about. They're being very balanced in their views, very educational, and therefore I'm getting confidence and a trust building with you. And then that will help us when we come to the sales process. At least we'll get the chance to quote, as opposed to not, people not knowing about us. So going back to your point, Ben, about how marketing has changed, in the old days, we had a captive audience, who had low choice, had no knowledge, had a lot more time, and there wasn't much noise in the marketplace. Today's world is we have a transient audience. People are much happier, moving around, buying from here, buying from there. There's tons more choice, in a way, there's information overload. I've got more information I can deal with, and I've also got less time, and I'm in a very noisy marketplace. Therefore, when we are talking, we have to stand out. Okay, we can't just be like everybody else. We've got to be a little bit sort of on the edge, as it were. Yeah, I suppose a bit opinionated sometimes. We've got to do something that takes us out of that noise that's there. Because if we're just another voice that's shouting along with every other voice, we're just not going to get heard. So the way that we've got to do that is we've got to really focus in on our unique selling proposition and our guarantee, our niche. What separates us, our product, from everybody else out there? And for a lot of people, and Kaylee, it's not easy for you because the product that you offer is the same product as everyone offers. With the Bens and Andy, you do have a unique product. You've got a patented product, so you can be a little bit more unique in what you do. But it doesn't matter on that. You've got to find an element of what you do that can be unique, that can stand out amongst everybody else. Okay, the more powerful this is, the more sound your business is. If this is weak, okay, you can compete, but you're only going to get half of what you could get. So one of the key things that can make you stand out is your story. Okay, your story can be unique because no one else could have gone through the same journey that you've gone through. Okay, and your outlook on life, your purpose, why you're here, that is unique to you and to the organization. Okay, so if your product can't be unique, then your story needs to be unique, your background. So for me, when people sort of say, well, why should I use you? It's my story that is unique. I was brought up by two parents that had their own businesses. My dad's business failed after 15 years. I went into industry. I helped grow multi-million-pound businesses. I took a year out, did an MBA, and I've been coaching for 15 years. There's nobody on this planet can actually be the same as I am. Now, will I appeal to everybody? No. Some people go, well, I don't care about any of that stuff. That's a load of rubbish. And I don't care about that. I'm looking for the people that actually resonate to that story. Okay, so service-based businesses are going to be much more in line with the story behind the service and a guarantee. A product-based business is the story behind the product and why the product is unique and what it does. Okay, so you've got to decide, what it is that, which one of those you're going to really focus on, and then you've got to really shout about it, really get it out in the marketplace. So we talked about this sort of formula for change. What this uniqueness does, it reduces that resistance, reduces the risk. Okay, it reduces why it's important to actually come to us, not somebody else. So a unique selling proposition can't be something that's vague, unspecific. Things like we really care, we're the best. These are not unique things because anybody could have these things as taglines to their business. Okay, it's got to be something that is really right for you. So here's some sort of categories you can have USPs in. So give me a business that has lower price as a part of their USP.
Asda.
Yeah. Asda, Lidl, Aldi. Okay, these businesses have built their business around lower price. Now, the problem with lower price is you have to be the lowest price, and you've got to keep proving that you're the lowest price operator. So you've got to have an organization that really drives efficiency into your business. Tesco's and Sainsbury's try this, and they try to be competitive, but their business model is very difficult for them to compete. If you look at Marks and Spencer's tried it and failed dismally, so they had to go completely the other way. Waitrose and Marks and Spencer's don't even talk about price anymore. They've got their essentials because they want you to buy the essentials there, but they've moved very much into the more affluent, added value part of what they do. Okay, so you can compete on low price, but you can be very, very specific on it. Service, what's the service that you do differently? Are you more convenient than other people? Do you have a wider range of choice? Is your product guaranteed longer? So I think it was Kia, they were struggling a little bit with people's perception of their quality. So they were the first company to put a 7-year guarantee onto their product. Okay. Vauxhall tried to keep up with them and they put a lifetime, I don't know if you remember, they put a lifetime guarantee on some of their vehicles, but they didn't have the systems behind that to make it work. They found that they were given this lifetime guarantee and their product was rubbish. Okay, so you can't just say something and not have what you need to back it up. You can be the most innovative. So that's a big one for R&B is innovation. We have something that's patented, unique, and that's what really sets us apart. The technology. Are you the quickest? Can you get things done quicker than anybody else? The quality of what you do, exclusivity. There's 20 areas here that you could pick one of those and actually really sort of say that this is the area in which we're unique. Okay. If you get through this and think, well, yeah, but we're still not really unique, it's still difficult, then you can go to a guarantee. We guarantee more than anyone else. We take the risk away from what we're doing. Okay, so you think about, what you're selling, what's somebody's biggest fear? So Kaylee, from what you're selling, what would somebody's biggest fear be where it could go wrong?
That they wouldn't get accepted for the amount that they're asking for or accepted at all, maybe for their business finance.
Cool, okay. Yeah, so we could go through all this work, you've paid me the fee and...
Oh, so with our fee, that's where our guarantee comes in. So if it doesn't get accepted, that fee is valid for 12 months. So if they find another project, they're more than welcome to come back and use that same fee price.
Okay. So you pay the fee, and we guarantee that we will get you funding in some shape or form. Now, the key for you is you don't want to take on basket cases who you're not going to get funding for. So our process is, we will tell you if you're not going to get funding.
Yeah.
Through our experience. So we know that we're not going to have to pay out on our guarantee because our processes are so robust that it'll never happen. Okay. Now, if you look at Gary, if you're moving into that commercial side, then it might be something on the commercial that you could guarantee around that.
Yeah, it was something I thought of actually, because with doing, let's say, like a fascia soffit job on a house, they don't care. They just want the fascia soffit job, £800. They pay it off in a few days, and that's it. Job done. Move on. But if it's a commercial contract where it's a contract, and it could be like 10,000 or 50,000, I don't know. They would want, I imagine, the client would want some form of guarantee in place to say, right, you're doing the work today. How long is it guaranteed for? So it's definitely something I'd look forward to, like if I do when I make that jump.
Yeah, so my work is guaranteed. If there's defects in it in the next 12 months, I'll come back and fix it for free. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you can always put conditions and clauses in there. Don't have too many, that makes the guarantee pointless. But you've got to have your systems and processes strong enough that that on the whole, you're not, the large percentage is you're not going to have to go back and fix things.
Yeah.
Okay, but again, do the maths. If you said out of 100 jobs, you know, one is going to go wrong, and it's going to cost me, you know, I'm going to have to write off the profit in that job. Yeah, then as long as, you know, your numbers are right, and you know that it's generated you at least one client, then you're still going to be no worse off having the guarantee than you were if you had it. Okay, so again, you go back to, you know, for the guarantee, if X percentage claimed, what impact would that have? Could I live with that? How would I mitigate that? Okay, and some of this is, you know, what it does make you do if you put the guarantee in, it makes sure you put your prices up. So I'm going to put 10% on my prices to cover any guarantee work that I've got to do. Yeah, and that's why we're slightly more expensive than everybody else, because we guarantee that if it goes wrong, you don't pay for it. Okay. So our offer, you know, what we offer differently is, you know, can be done with, you know, a guarantee, you know, can set us apart. So once we know who we're going to go for, why we're different, what we're offering, then we look at the marketing strategy. Okay, then we can look at, you know, are we going to add an advert out? Are we going to go to a website? Are we going to go to emails, referrals? It's, you know, whatever the strategies we are, we can then focus on that. And as I said, you know, these are all individual strategies. They're like spinning plates. We get one up and running, and then we'll work on the next one. We get that one up and running, then we work on the next one. Okay, but with each one of these, we have to test it, we have to measure it, we have to understand the return on investment. Should we do more of it? Should we do less of it? So, and when we're putting our marketing piece together, when we're actually communicating out, we have to follow what we call the AIDA principle. Okay, so in our offer message that's going to go out, we've got to be looking and say, you know, we've got to grab people's attention. Yeah, we then have to drive their interest. We then need to create some desire and have a call to action. Okay, so everything that we do, doesn't matter what medium we use, social media, telephone, adverts, knocking on doors, okay, this AIDA principle must pan out. Okay, so we've got to think that first point of communication, am I grabbing somebody's attention? Am I creating some interest and desire? And am I actually getting them to do something from it? So I'm going to show you an example in print first, because it's the easiest way to explain this. And then we're going to come and perhaps look at, you know, some things that are a little bit more left field, but we can still apply the same principles. You know, what I'm teaching you is the principles. How you then apply that will depend on, you know, what you're actually trying to achieve and the context you're putting it in. So here's a little advert that we use to show the AIDA principle in practice. Now, this advert is a few years old now. I mean, they're still making the beds. I think they're one of the most popular beds around. But this advert was an award-winning advert because its return on investment was massive. Okay, so this advert went out in the Daily Mail. It costs on average, I think, £10,000 an advert in the Daily Mail. And I think its return on investment was like 100 times. So this advert we know worked. Okay, and I know it worked because an old colleague of mine actually was in the marketing company and was on the team that designed the advert. So I didn't know that until I did the advert, and I used it in an example, and he came up to me after and said, I did that advert. And it was great to talk to him about, you know, how he went about putting it together. So the first thing to think that, okay, this was back in the day before the internet. How long do you think it took to refine this advert, to test and measure it until it got to this stage? How many days, weeks, months do you think it took?
3 months.
3 months, Gary? Any advance on 3 months?
There's quite a bit of work in it. So
Yep.
yeah, maybe more. 4 months.
Yeah.
You said before internet. Actually, if it's before internet, I'd probably say yeah.
Yeah, this is before internet. So yeah, internet now we can test and measure things a lot quicker. So this took 9 months. This is a big agency in London, a team of I think 2 or 3 people. Took them 9 months of testing and measuring, trying different things before they came up with this that gave them the best return on investment. How did they know that this advert was working, and how did they measure it?
I presume they would have done market research based on different templates of it.
No.
Would it have been them slips? Would they have had to send them slips in? Please send me your details on the temporary mattress.
Yep. So how many phone calls did we get on an 0800 number, and how many slips did we get? That's how they measured it. Okay, so you don't do any marketing unless you can measure it. So this one, call to action, yeah, fill in this coupon, phone this number. We can measure that all day long. So if I look at the attention, yeah, what grabs the attention? So imagine this is in a magazine, you know, in a paper, and I'm flicking through the paper, on a Sunday afternoon, nothing else to do. Yeah, what's going to grab my attention?
My agony is over.
Headline. So headlines are always the attention grabber. So I'm going to look at this and say, at last, my agony is over. Now, attention, the headline has to be targeted to the person I'm trying to sell to. So how targeted is this advert? Or who's it targeted to? Who would you say this is targeted to?
Anyone who's in agony or who has been in agony.
Anyone that's in agony. Okay, so that's a target, but it's not specific enough.
Back pain, and you could say as well British women, because that's what they've specified at the top.
Yep, British women. Yeah, I mean this is going in, you know, a UK magazine. So can we get more specific than that? What type of British women is it going for?
Older.
Yeah. What sort of age range?
There's nothing actually in the article to say, is there?
Yes, there is. Yeah. You were looking at it. You were doing the right stare.
Busy mother, Diane. So mothers, maybe.
How old do you think the woman in the picture is?
Mid-30s, early 40s.
Yep. Okay. So a mid-30s, early 40s female appeals to what age of female?
So the older female, I'd say between that age, 30s and 40s, 50s.
No. When you look at a picture of somebody, yeah, what age group do you relate? Do you look at and think of yourself? Your current age, somebody older, somebody younger?
Probably younger.
Younger. Yeah. So we relate to somebody about 10 years younger than ourselves when we're on a visual. So a picture of a 30 to 40-year-old woman appeals to a
40 to 50.
40 to 50-year-old woman.
Yeah. What
type of demographic of people are more prone to back pain?
That age, 40, 50, 60.
40 to 50, yeah, 40 to 50 people. What age, what demographic of people have high levels of disposable income?
That age of people.
That age of people. Yeah, see, if you're 20 years old with back pain, yeah, are you going to go out and buy a £5,000 bed?
No.
No.
Probably not. Probably drink it off.
Yeah. A, you're unlikely to have back pain, but B, you're not my target market. If you're 80 years old and have got back pain, are you going to go out and buy a £5,000 bed?
Probably.
No.
If I had the money.
Because I'll be dead in 5 years. 80-year-old people don't go out and buy new bed. They stick with the bed they've got. Okay, so they're targeting actually, what is a fairly niche marketplace. Now, this is really cleverly done. Is it women with back pain that this is targeted to specifically?
No, it's kind of open to everyone, but that is their target market. Or yeah.
So
I would say there's a catch in that, because it's middle-aged women who might have husbands who are builders and have busted backs and shoulders and all that. So actually putting up with old bugger legs next to me or moaning about his back pain, it's actually going to make her that's her pain. So she'll just go out and blow $5,000 to sort him out, kind of thing.
Yeah, to be fair, it's always the women saying, I need this new, I need that new. It's never really you hear a man saying, oh, it's getting
blokes don't buy beds.
They don't care.
Not that price of bed, no.
Those because I'll sit there and snore and moan and whinge, and it's not me that's got the problem. It's it's my partner. So there's a lot of thought gone into who should be in the picture, what age it should be. Yes, okay, you could go, well, it's racist because it's a white female, but look, that's their demographic. These are the people that are going to buy beds. So the targeting of this isn't just a thrown together ad, it's a very cleverly put together ad. At last, my agony is over. I suffered terribly. Now, it's nothing to do with back pain or anything else, it's just pain generally. Okay, it says back pain up here, but we're talking generically to these people, to this particular demographic. Okay, so the interest then, there's a testimonial here. It's making it personal. It says, I suffered. Me, this person. Well, this is a random person. This person's probably never had a backache. It's speaking in their language. It's putting themselves into their shoes and saying, look, this is what happens. Okay, we've got some good copy down here. So it's actually, you can't read it, but it's actually very well written. There's not a lot of it, is there? There's more white space than there is writing. So don't cram loads of stuff into it. Do enough to get people interested to take the next step. We've got pictures, because to speak 1,000 words, in the day people didn't know what memory foam mattresses were. Well, there's something that shows what it actually does. And then create some desire. We have some free stuff. We're not trying to sell the bed. This is the big thing. I'm not trying to sell a bed in this advert. What am I trying to do?
Generate leads.
Generate inquiries. People who are interested in beds. So this is not sales, this is pure marketing. Get people interested. You need to do your research. So here's some free stuff to do some more of your research. Okay, we've got some accreditation down here. Now we've got a guarantee. Okay, so these actually, I think there's one sort of something about the space, because it's memory foam was developed for the space travel, and there's a there's a limited 15-year guarantee down here. A limited 15 doesn't mean anything, because it's got a little logo and a little stamp. It gives credibility to what we're actually doing. Okay, and then we've got our offer. A 60-night trial. Now, this is what we call a puppy dog close. So why it's called a puppy dog close?
Because they receive it, and it's most likely they wouldn't send it back.
Yeah. So why wouldn't they send it back? So if you've borrowed a bed for 60 nights, because if you see on the TV now, I think Emma mattresses are giving a 200-night trial. So if after 200 nights, any time up to 200 nights, you can give your bed back, and we'll give you your money back. money back guarantee.
It's just such a hassle, isn't it? Especially if you live in a flat or something. By the time you've got your bed built and in the room with the mattress on it, you've probably got rid of your old bed because you probably don't have room for 2 beds.
Exactly. So even if it's not quite right, A, after 200 nights, you've got used to it. And B, the hassle that you've got of giving it back. So they give a guarantee that makes you feel good, but it's completely useless. No one's ever going to take you up on that guarantee unless they're a complete nutter. And you'll get 1 in 1,000 that will be complete nutters. And then you just got to go, fine, I'll give you a check. There you go. And then you have a call to action, phone this number, fill in this form. Okay, and a coupon down the bottom. So this was in those days. Nowadays, with being online, it will be electronic version of it.
Codes and stuff.
Now, out of all of that, where's the logo of this company?
Bottom right on the little
Coupon
voucher thing.
So the least important thing of this advert is who this company is. So it's got nothing to do with the company. Yeah, it's all to do with you, the consumer, the buyer. Yeah. As I leave the page, imagine I'm leaving the page. So, the other thing to think about is when we read. So if I speed read, I start top left, I read left to right. Yeah, I go top right, bottom left, I leave bottom right. So the last thing I leave this page in is the company name. The other thing that is brilliant on this advert is because they know that we read diagonally, how's this woman lying? What's she pointing to?
The picture.
Offer. So if I'm going to speed read this ad, I come in here, I see the head. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, there's a woman. Yeah. And my eye is naturally brought down here. Oh, there's the offer. Okay. Yeah. And then I leave with temper.
Is she just a normal woman or is she a celebrity back in the day?
I have no idea. She could be Diane Morley Ham. I don't know. Not that much of a celebrity, but then these days, you only have to do a selfie and then you're a celebrity. Okay, so this is the level of when we're putting adverts together. If you think about this, 9 months, all of these things were tried, tested, moved around, and then they came up with this. That's sort of what we've got to be thinking when we put an advert together. Gary was in one of our groups the other day, and he put an advert together, and we basically ripped it apart. Okay, because none of this was taken into account. Now you can put an advert together and you can just chuck it out. You might get some result from it, but if you put a bit of effort into it and you follow these principles, you're going to get a much better return on your investment. Okay, now that's on an advert. You can do the same in an email. Here's an email. How to attract more clients. There's a good headline, there's a picture, nice, simple, and then click here, watch now, show me how. Calls to action. The same principles are being applied within this. So, when Kaylee, when you go cold calling, you've got to be thinking, well, what's my attention, interest, desire, action? Okay, because you've got a limited amount of time now. You could go in with a big top hat. I went
round with a pumpkin full of sweets.
Pumpkin full of sweets.
When they give them a business card, they got a sweet.
Exactly. So something's got to stand out that grabs some attention, creates some interest, and then leaves with a call to action. Give us your card, and I'll give you a call in the next few days and see how things are. Can I leave a bit of information for you? Something that you can follow up on. So along with all of this, what gets measured gets done, what gets measured gets improved. So no matter what we do, we've got to be able to measure, what we're talking about. I've talked about this already. So it's got to link back to the company budget. So ultimately back to our sales targets. And we need leading and lagging key performance indicators. So a leading KPI is the activity. So how many doors do I knock? How many leaflets do I send out? How many adverts do I send out? How many social media posts do I do? The lagging is the result. Yes, if I do this, I get this. So I've got to be measuring the two. And then broken down into the company, department, product, service, right? Down into the granularity. It's about marginal gains at this level. There's no big wins in marketing. It's continual improvement in lots of different areas. And the way we can track that, here's a very simple one, which is our sort of 10 by 10. So you choose your 10 marketing strategies. You say how much I'm going to spend on each one, what's my target activity, and how many quotes do I want, how many sales do I want, what's my revenue. So you can see here, I'm going to spend £1,600 to get £5,000 in sales back. Okay. And then you can then measure that on a regular basis and see what comes out. So in essence, the fundamentals of marketing are that it's not overly complicated. And one of the best books I've come across that really explains this well is this book, Highly Effective Marketing Plan. It calls it the HEMP process, Highly Effective Marketing Plan. And it basically breaks it down into these 4 areas that I've talked about. Really clear what your goals are. What do I want to achieve? What am I aiming for? I'm not just doing marketing for marketing's sake. There's marketing with a purpose. Who's my target audience? Who are they? What are they thinking? What do I want them to think? Put myself into their shoes. What's going to make them sit up? That bed advert, because they really understood how that demographic of person actually thought, what was important to them. It's not just, here's my bed, here's all the fantastic features. It's very much talking in their language. What's the story? So what's our uniqueness? What's our guarantee? Why us? Why not somebody else? Okay, what's special about us? And then how do we communicate? How do we get this message across to them? What's the best route to market? Is it just a phone call? Is it a letter through the door? Is it a billboard? Is it an advert? What is it that's going to get to that target market and get them to understand? And then how do we control and measure the results? How do we work out our return on investment? Okay, I've got clients that are now spending around about £40,000 a month on Facebook and online adverts. £40,000 a month they're spending on ads.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't spend that amount of money unless you're getting a good enough return on investment. And we track that on a daily basis. We know what the return is. So we switch adverts on, we switch adverts off. And that becomes the game that you're playing, is what can get the best return on investment. So if you're not monitoring, if you're not measuring it, if you're not targeting it, if you're not following these principles, then you're just chucking money at a wall and hoping some of it will stick. So clear what your target is, clear what your goal is, who your target is, what's your story, how are you going to communicate, and how do you measure? Those are the real fundamentals. If you look at any marketing campaign and you follow those principles, that and the ADA principle, you won't go far wrong. You've got a really good sound base to work on. Good. Any questions?
I'm good.
Anything you want me to just go over again, or let's say, has been recorded, so you can always grab the recording and then whiz through a bit and get a bit more explanation if you want to.
That's been very helpful, thank you.
Good. So your home fun. So we don't do homework, it's home fun. So think about a marketing goal. Yeah, so what would be one area that you think, actually, if I could get some leads for this particular product from this particular, how many leads would I want? How much revenue would that generate? How much am I going to spend? Okay, so just choose something that you can try this out on. Don't go for the whole thing, just one small thing you can work on. And then, think about, do you have any limiting beliefs that are holding you back around it? Well, I'm not a marketeer, I don't like being on the phone, what could be holding you back from achieving that goal? Is it lack of time? Is it a lack of money? Is it a lack of skill? Because it doesn't matter, we've all got things that are going to slow us down, but part of this is to then say, right, okay, so what do I need to improve on? Do I need to go and ask for a bigger budget? Do I need to go and actually read the hemp book? Read up on the ADA principle. What is it that would improve my skill set to achieve that? And then write a little hemp plan. Now I've got, if anybody wants I've got a little template that just asks those questions that you can fill in. Just ping me an email and I'll send you the little hemp. It's a summary of the, I've got a little thing of that I can send you, and a little sort of questionnaire that you can follow that will just ask questions to help you get a little bit more focus on what you're trying to do. So just ping me an email and then I can just send it to you, because if you tell me now, I won't remember in the morning. Cool, good. So Ben, what was the main thing from you, and what's your one thing you're going to do as a result?
I think the main thing for me from this is just it's now more orderly in my head in terms of the whole where marketing fits into everything else within the business.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Whereas before I was a bit confused as to what was sales, what was marketing. Whereas now it's all very clear. This is this is that. This is how we measure this. This is how we measure that. Yeah, and the fact that it's measurable, which I didn't really ever think about before.
Yeah, I think, look, if that's the one thing you got, then today's been a success, because if you get your head around that, it's not easy because they all do blend in, customer service, there's still some marketing, but if you think about it as lead generation is really where marketing is, then it'll really help you sort of hone in your strategies going forwards.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Good. Kaylee.
So again, it's just settling into my head everything what market is. It all makes complete sense to me, which is really good. The advert for the temper mattress is something that's really stuck out to me, because I want to try and create an advert using all of them points that you put into it. So that's going to be a little bit of homework for me. You did say this was recorded. Do you get that sent round in a link?
It'll come through on Monday in my Monday email. So yeah. So
the advert that was really handy for me, I think.
Cool. I've got a little I call it a keep it simple stupid help sheet, which has got that advert on it and some headlines and things. So again, if you put that on there, give me the advert, I'll send you a copy of that as well. So.
Lovely, thanks.
Cool. Ben, I shouldn't say number 2, bottom Ben. That's even worse, isn't it?
Not sure if that's better, to be honest, Kevin. I think that's much worse. I'd rather be a number 2. No, so for me, I think it was more so rather than going with it of the scope of trying to pick customers from every aspect of walk of life, identifying what specific customers we want to target in terms to maximize that investment upon your marketing strategy.
Yeah,
because I think based on that, if you target anyone and everyone, you're going to end up investing more, but in turn your actual percentage of inquiries based on that would be less, because it's less targeted and less specific towards them.
I mean, if you can imagine, if you had a target of 10 companies, that was it. Your marketing could be so laser focused for those 10 companies. It would be so much easier. Yeah, if you're targeting 10,000 companies, it's bloody hard work, you know, and you've got to spend a lot of money to actually achieve that. So really think about it. The more you can narrow it down to the smallest possible audience, the better your marketing is going to be.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. Andy?
Yes, it was just more of a general understanding of, similar to Ben 1, to be honest, what marketing is and how we can focus on it, you know, to create leads and that sort of stuff, and how sort of as many leads as possible is a good thing. But yeah, it just improved my general understanding of marketing and stuff.
Yeah. Cool. So on that point about as many leads as possible, as many of the right leads as possible.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because what you don't want to do is market that brings in rubbish leads, because then you're just going to clog up sales trying to convert things they're never going to convert.
Yeah.
So, cool. Good. Gary? Oh, you're on mute, Gary.
No, sorry, I've got to go on the phone. I've written down 3 things that I think I need to, it's areas I need to grow in, is get accreditation guarantee and have something along the lines of fully insured, involved in a marketing scheme. So kind of like with the Tempra, the mattress thing, when it's like got down to the point of accreditation and those little logos and stuff, that's one thing sort of down the line I think is a good thing I need to invest in when it comes to commercial maintenance, because the commercial companies like accreditation. They like to see other company little logos on your van. But as a whole right now, I'm thinking of the rebranding side to something that's maybe a bit more serious looking, or just a bit more creative looking, and maybe rolling with that in the next up to like 6 months and going from there. But yeah, it's going to be in my 3-month and 6-month goal targets.
All I would say on that is, remember this advert. Yeah. Where's the brand on this advert?
Okay.
How important is the brand on this advert?
It's not important at all. It's a tiny little thing in the corner. It's quite funny you say this, because you know, last time I did a leaflet, you guys gave me a right ripping into. So what I've done is I've got 3 new leaflets, and the opening sentence says, "Does your house have maintenance needs?" And it doesn't even mention, and then there's like little tick boxes of doors, carpentry, flooring problems, plastering repairs, painting, blah, blah, blah. Then you flip it over and it's like a bit like that Ben's gutters that you said. "Hi, I'm Gary. Just happened to be in your neighborhood recently doing work and wanted to see if you could benefit from my services, competitively priced and trustworthy." And then it just says, "Contact Gary," tiny little company name, like right down here in the corner. And it's got my email address and telephone number. So I have kind of, I remember last time I spoke, well, you've shown me that picture before, and it's helped me to sort of not bother about my company.
I'm not saying your brand image isn't important. You know, it needs to be right. It needs to be, you know, but yeah, if you go back into all the brands, the Nike brand, the tick, the Coca-Cola logo, you know, do you know how much the Nike logo, the tick, and Nike cost the founder of Nike to actually produce?
50p? I don't know. It's like, this is the tick.
I think it was a beer and some crisps.
Really?
His mate drew it on a napkin, and he goes, "That'll do." Coca-Cola was, you know, same thing. Somebody just drew it out and he said, "That'll do."
Okay.
Yeah. Yet there are companies out there that will take thousands of pounds off you to create you a brand image, you know, and to be honest, it's the least important part.
Okay.
I actually create branding myself on the side. And again, I'm a bit with you, Kevin, that people charge so much money for vectors and things, and some of the times just text now. It's just be simple, be plain, you know, like make sure it's what the customer wants and it relates to the company a little bit, but you don't need to be extravagant with it. Like with my prices, I don't charge a lot, I charge by the hour. If someone wants something that's real complex, then it'd be a bit more. But if I whip something up in 20 minutes, I'll charge them £20 or something like that. Just something to reflect the
don't want to undervalue your artwork and things like that.
Definitely.
But when you're coming to your advertising, your marketing, it's not that important.
No.
It's got to be right, you know, and it's got to feel good, and you're going to have it for a long time. So, you know, it's a bit like clothing. You know, you don't need to buy, designer wear, but if you can afford it, then I suppose why not? But it doesn't make you a better person, So it doesn't make a better advert. It just makes you feel better for about 5 minutes. So.
Definitely. I don't understand how there's companies out there, look, people have come to me to get logos and things, and I charge a flat rate, it's £45, where they've been quoted £600 for something ridiculous. I'm like, what? That's so much more money you could put in your business, like creating adverts and things like that, rather than just a little swirl that's like linked together and you paid £800 for it. Crazy.
It's not to say that that isn't a little bit better, but it's these things are in the eye of the beholder,
Mm-hmm.
So why did Andy buy a clapped out, was it Fiesta? It was fit for purpose. It did the job. It's fine. It was better than not having one.
The reason why I was thinking on rebranding is because my housemate does it, and I can get it from mates rates. That was the only real reason. So
then fine, but don't. The big thing is, look, once you've got a brand, don't keep changing it, because what you're trying to, if you want consistency and have something that people sort of go know, like, and trust, and that takes time. You keep changing your brand, and you'll lose all of that past work. So.
Okay, yeah, it's all good.
Brilliant. Good stuff, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully we'll see you at another Mastery workshop in the very near future. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks, Kevin.
Bye.
Yeah.